Hello, I'm Stephen with Alberta Urban Garden.ca. So today I'm going to teach you how to start seeds using peat pods. These are fairly common at any garden center, and they work quite well. I've been using them the last few years and been very impressed with them. You take a peat pod like this one, and you want to put it into water to rehydrate it. Now it's best to use hot water. This one has gotten a little bit of moisture in the past, so it has swollen up a bit, but it's perfectly fine. And so we'll just toss the rest of them in here. So as you can see, they're already starting to swell. And that won't take them much time in hot water to swell and to gain the water. Now in the instruction packet it does say how much water to put for each pod, but to be honest, I just load a container up with hot water and they swell up fairly quickly. So as you can see, they're almost done. That was 30 seconds. So what this peat pot is wrapped in is a plastic wrapping, and I'll show you later on when we transplant these what to do with that plastic wrapping. But for now, it keeps the peat nice and tight together, and it'll help for seeding. So I'm just going to take these out here in a second, and we will plant seeds. So the next step is to peel away this mesh coating on the top, just so that you can get access to the peat pod part. So these do look wonky. If you do it with hot water, your speed means they're going to look wonky. So this tray's got these pods right here, and it allows drainage, and it doesn't really matter what they look like, because as soon as you get your plants to sprout and their first true leaves are coming, then typically you're going to want to transplant them anyways. So I'd like to thank the small town gardener. He helped me pick out which seeds I'm going to do, and Praxis for showing me the pruning method. So these are two pepper varieties. So one is a super Hungarian hot. It's a white hot pepper. It ripens to light yellow or red. It's very hot. And what I'm going to try to do is the Praxis method of pruning on these, where I make a pepper bush as opposed to just kind of one pepper plant. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that they're labeled. So I'll put a piece of paper to make sure I know which one's which. So the super Hungarian hot will be the 3 on the left. So what I'm doing is I'm just picking a little spot, 3 little spots. 1, 2, 3. And that's to account for germination rate. I don't have a heating pad underneath these, so sometimes they just won't germinate. So if you plant 3 per pod, you should at least get 1. Typically with peppers I don't have a problem getting them to germinate, but I'll still do this. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently cover these with some peat, just so that you can't see any of the yellow. I use a skewer because I have big mammoth hands and I could never do this with my fingers. So I'm going to finish up the rest. I'm going to do 3 pods of the super Hungarian hot and 3 pods of the habanero. So the next stage is to put this dome on. And this dome will help keep the humidity in there correct. Then what you want to do is you want to lower the lights almost right onto them. Now we can actually turn one of these lights off as long as we put it directly underneath the other one. So you can put it right on top of the dome. These lights won't get hot. So these lights are on for 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and I just have a light timer that I showed you in the light setup video. Once these have sprouted, I'm going to take the tomatoes that I've started already and bring them over. The good thing about this tray is it has a platform that lifts the pods up and allows drainage, so they're not sitting in water, which has caused mildew problems and and germination problems in the past, but you want to keep this on again until they've sprouted the first time. So we'll come back in a few days once they've sprouted and we'll do the next step. So we've got the peat pods in the front, and we've got the tomatoes that are in the indoor potting mix in the back. So what I've done here to increase the germination rate of these seeds is I've actually installed a heating pad underneath these, and that brings the temperature up a couple of degrees from my basement. As I kind of figured, this is the sweet and eat tomatoes, and this is the one that I squeezed out all the seeds on, and they seem to be sprouting just fine. The hot pepper's doing great. The Rio de Oro have come up, and the habanero are coming shortly behind them. So once they sprout, you want to take that cap off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually transplant some of these seedlings to increase my success. So what you do is you gently pull that out. At this stage it should be just fine to do that. Use a pencil to kind of push a little hole, rebury it. Because this is a tomato, you can bury it a little deeper than it was originally because it'll actually grow roots from there. I'm just going to pull a second one here. This one came with a clump of soil. Just plop that in there. So that's essentially how to start seeds from either peat pots or in soil. Thank you very much for joining me. If you like this video, please subscribe or join us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Alberta Urban Garden.